It's like being a kid in a candy store sometimes when I get to talk, or my colleagues, Alex and Allison, and we just see how some of these products are put together. And we love the hordes or smorgasbords of up to 10 different or up to 20 different, that coin hunt, the impulse in all of us. But there's also some solace in, I got this and I got this. Exactly. No questions, no doubts. The question is, how is the price? Well, you know us when it comes to Morgan dollars and uncirculated coins. They don't beat us. So look at this one and join us. You are looking at 1886 and 1896. Again, two more products that came out of our last show. We bought a big deal of coins that we're sorting through right now. But there were a number of regular rolls, solid 20 coin rolls of these 2 years. So there's no reason to potluck this, anybody, at all. We're just going to make them available as they are. But look at our price for these beautiful uncirculated vintage. We're talking about coins that are over 120, 130 years old. And they look nicer than the ones they just made this July for us in 2023. That is how much fun these vintage coins are. Now, if you look at time and history, something we need to take a step back on and talk about. Because now with the Red Book or guidebooks telling us vintage figures, now that we know the Pittman Act happened in 1918, where they openly said they actually destroyed 60% of all Morgan dollars, we just have no idea which coins, because they didn't keep track of that. And that was for funding of World War I for us and our allies, which led to the 1921 Morgan, right? And the larger mintages there. But what we do know is we have help from our friends. NGC, PCGS, ANAX. They publish everything they see, all grades. And that just gives us an understanding of what is and what isn't out there in the marketplace. Just for reference. It's not perfect, not an exact science, but it's as close as we're going to get. But what we're able to see, though, is that some years are just way less known than others. Now, if you're like me and you go to shows on a regular basis, you can understand that you're not seeing that 1886 often. You might see 581S's, 583O's, an 87, maybe a 97 or a 98, but you're not going to see the 86 that often. The 96 is in a similar situation. Vintage figures play a significant part. I say that fast 3 times. A significant part in our conversation. But it doesn't give us everything today, especially when you get a 100-year-old coin and 35 years of our experts telling us what they've seen. When you break it down, both of these, after 35 years, are still less than the number of coins made by the U.S. Mint in 2021 when they brought back the Morgan. Think about that. 2021, we had a resurgence, 100th anniversary of the last Morgan. They made all 5 mints, which means they made a Philadelphia mint as equal as the Carson City. 175,000 coins strong, sold out on August 10th in 7 minutes. And today, they're worth $250 to $300 a coin. Know why? Because there's only 175,000 of them known to exist. This year, July, the U.S. Mint brought out the 2023 Uncirculateds, Philadelphia and Peace, 1 each. They made 275,000 of those coins. They made 100,000 more because so many people were disappointed not getting the 2021 coin. And where did those go? They're right now, my competition is at 150 to 170. We're sold out. We're recalculating, moving all of our inventory around, getting them back from the services so that we can launch another campaign and talk to you about it. But we were at 100. Now they're at 150 to 170, and they made 275,000 of those coins. Crazy. When you look at both of these, you're just going to see small numbers. Just small numbers. Nothing close to the moderns we see today. Now my competition, well, $143 on each. In a Mint State 60 uncirculated, which is apples to apples. They also put them in a capsule. We're less than half. You can buy both of ours for less than one of theirs. How is that? Pretty special. Pretty darn right special. Now, part of what I love to do as a collector is something that one of my dear friends when I was growing up in the industry, his name was Bob L. Crono. He was the graphic artist at the company I worked for in the early 80s. And he always said, part of the fun is just envisioning who held this coin? Where did this coin come from? And we were doing a project of America's first silver dollar at that time in history. Beautiful 8 reals. And I was like, hey, is this the coin that George Washington threw across the Potomac? Or any other river crossed, right? In his journey during the Revolution. Who held it? What happened? So I always go back and look at, well, what happened in 1886 in history? I mean, today, 25 years ago, our cell phones out there, right? So things have flown. 100 years ago, cars. Well, in 1886, the Statue of Liberty was dedicated in New York Harbor, right? Think about it. President Grover Cleveland in October. Coca-Cola was invented by the pharmacist Pemberton. Carl Benz created the first gas car ever in Europe. Baseball, America's pastime. The playoffs are coming, right? Ty Cobb was born. Unique stuff, great story. Then here's the other, which fast forward 10 years. What have we progressed with? We had 100 years, right? Now we have 110 years. Where are we? 110 years. Utah is the 45th state admitted. So we went over 100 years from 13 colonies to 45 states. Pretty darn impressive. The stock market, right? The Dow Jones Industrial Average started with 12 industrial stocks in 1896. The Ford quadricycle. So 10 years after Benz in Europe invents the concept of the car, Ford here makes it the entry level for us in this country, right? One of my favorites of all time, right? George Burns. He was born in 1896, and he made the Century Club. He made it. He passed away, unfortunately, in 1996, 100 years later. And then the one song we all should know, I hope we all know, is John Philip Sousa's Christmas song in 1896. Do you remember what that was? Stars and Stripes Forever. So part of the fun, other than hunting down the coins, is what was going on when they were actually out there. The largest silver find in U.S. history, the Comstock Lode, leads to the Bland-Allison Act, which leads to the Morgan dollar, right? It lasts 27 years, 1878 to 1904. These are the vintage early issues, original coins, not medallions. How much fun? Fun. Guys, we got to put a 30-second clock up. Getting carried away. I was just told, you got less than a roll each. Why are you still talking? It's kind of what I do. Trust me. Kind of what I do. Love talking about coins. But tonight, not 143, 59.95. Your choice. You don't have to buy both to get that low price. And even if you did, you're still less than the price they have for one of theirs. Vintage originals. So with today's market being hot on the 21 and 23 Morgan dollars, and I understand why they are, I have one too. Gotta have that stuff. I love the Morgan series. But I can go back 120 years and get one for under 60. That's the AVC way, and I hope you join me.